Hey, this one's on finding balance, and I went to two different extremes, and in life, and the extreme to the left, all the way to its very end, going back is, Roman Catholicism. If you just take one baby step off of the actual path in the wrong direction to the left, it's like maybe non-denominational Protestant Christian, somebody who believes that they believe, but they don't actually believe in Yahshua and the path and stuff. They don't actually follow what he did and live as he lived and speak as he spoke, and otherwise they would know that you have to give up the whole world and even your own life to serve him, or you can have no part with him, that a friend of this world is an enemy of the Almighty, that if you find your life in this world, you'll lose it, but if you lose your life for his sake, you'll find it. The absolute reality of the way, the truth, and the life, that no man comes to the Father unless they actually do that, unless they actually be it for real in reality. And so no matter how far you get carried off the path in the left direction to Christianity, it's not real, it's not true. But that doesn't mean that the way isn't real, because it is. It's just that thin, narrow path leading to a small gate that very few there are that find. And out of those that do, many of them seek to enter in, if you are able. Now, those are his words himself, so any argument that would pop up in the mind of someone who is thinking other letters that were approved by Romans and what's being called the New Testament, anything other than the actual words in red is going to cause some confusion, possibly, if you aren't already actually doing and believing and living those words in red, period. So, then there's the other extreme, and I walked both ways in the wrong direction. I didn't follow what I was supposed to follow in life as far as staying on the actual narrow path leading to the small gate. I walked off in the wrong direction and made it all the way to an extreme and back. Then I came back to a balance in life, and you know what? I walked off again and went in the opposite direction, to the right this time. And if you just take a step off the path to the right, barely like a baby step and looking in the wrong direction, then it seems that you would wind up being, someone who believed in and wanted to follow the written Torah rules the way that you see fit, the way that you believe God meant by it in your imagination, whatever amount of details you picked up during life, but all the way to the extreme in just the in stone letters themselves is following everything that everyone's ever said that they commanded when they were given the power to do so. Like, for instance, the Pharisees given the power, Deuteronomy 17, 9 through 11, this stuff that the priests, when they actually had it, and the everyone, when it was established in the first order, anything that they've been saying ever since in their minds and their imaginations, or listening to spirits in the middle of the night, like Magid telling Ramchal stuff, and he actually believed everything he was told and transferred it to others, and these people are still, seeing the communication realm in darkness, actually believing in what will eventually connect the world itself together as the world. I've been to these extremes and seen all of this stuff, and a lot of it may not even make sense to a lot of people. A lot of it could be argued with by some of the people who would say, I don't really know or understand because I didn't go far enough, and who am I to say? And none of that really matters to me anymore, because I actually know better because I've been shown. I've actually seen and understood the errancies and the wrongs in going in either direction off of the narrow way that leads to the small gate. And it's mind-blowing that I would do this in life 2 different times, but what I can say is that having made both possible mistakes in life really helps me a lot to be able to hopefully explain to other people who may be making the same mistakes that it is a mistake, and I hope I can help any way I can. And my deepest apologies to anyone who listened to me during the time period that I was involved in walking in the mistake, and I hope that I can help any way I can to make it all right. And here I am now, and so that's the important thing. And for me personally, there was great value in actually going through it all, of course. It was worth it to me to have gone through it in order to have the understanding I have now and have it really be solid instead of something that could be shaken or flimsy, or it's just a belief instead of an actual understanding. Belief is a good thing, don't get me wrong, and knowledge is a good thing, don't get me wrong, but an actual understanding that's given from the Almighty, it transcends belief and knowledge, because at that point it isn't information that you have to test and prove in history and everything, and like I was doing, which is a good thing if people aren't sure which information is correct or not. My point is that if people are relying on information, knowledge, blind belief, because on the one way to the left, the Christians, they just have blind belief in faith, and they don't even realize that what they're believing in is not who the person really was or what really happened or what the path really is. And on the other side, it's all of this knowledge, but they don't realize the actual source of the knowledge. And I know it sounds so incredibly arrogant, probably to so many people. Who are you? And I am so sorry for what I know it's going to sound like. I'm so sorry. But I can't help it. I actually have seen better, and I've actually come out of it, and I'm okay now, and I'm very thankful for the experience. But unfortunately, whoever heard the videos I did during the time period when I was getting pulled, into that realm to the right, by the very Pharisees who made the very doctrines that they were authorized to make by God back in the day. But the thing is that Yahshua transferred that priesthood and to the hands of his Nazarene dudes, And here's the interesting thing, is that, he said to the apostles, what you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, what you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. So nowadays there are people in their imaginations who believe that they're actually qualifying for this, that they are these people, and they go around and as if it applies to them, and it doesn't. It only applied to the people he actually spoke to face, and if that kind of spiritual reality is going to exist today, then only the Almighty, through a direct revelation to an individual, could make it so in their life. And unless that's actually happened, it ain't you. That's the intensity of the actual real path, is that you have to actually walk it and be it and achieve it, and if you did, you would know, and if you didn't, you would know that too. I mean, it's no different than looking outside the window and seeing that the sun's out. Therefore, you know that the sun's out, because there it is right there, and the warmth is on your face. The light is coming from the sky. I mean, how could you not know it was nighttime if the moon was out and it was dark? If you don't see the way that clearly and plainly, then you do not see the way, period. And this is the thing about belief that's so dangerous, is that so many people are choosing what it is that they're going to believe in, and I did the same thing. I chose I was going to believe in something once when I was much younger, and I used my mind to convince me of that belief. so that it could make sense, so that it could be logical, so that it could be valid. And I did the same thing again when I was following the Pharisee rules, you know, and there was a time when you had to follow that because they were given that seed of Moses. I know the Karaites argue about it and everything because they don't have it now, and it's true that they don't have it now, but they actually did at one time, and that Yahshua transferred it to the apostles. Now, the big mistake I made that caused me to go in the Pharisee direction in the first place, the thing that caused that to actually happen, the catalyst or whatever, was the detail in history I saw in the early 4th century where Constantine's pressure in trying to formalize Christianity into one thing instead of having so many different people using their imagination to make it up as they went along. He wanted just his imagination to make it up as he went along, and he chose. Okay, pretty much. I'm paraphrasing and wording things in a certain way, but basically, when the remaining Nazarenes that he didn't execute from the earth, the people who did survive, they integrated into the Pharisees. This was the detail that I found, and I figured, well, if that's what they did, then that must be what I'm supposed to do. And I figured I'd just put Yahshua on a shelf or something, and figure, well, I mean, that's just what I got to do. I got to bury it somehow and see what happens, because if that's what they did, that's what I got to do too. I was going to follow the example. Well, guess what? I didn't realize that Yahshua specifically said, if you find your life in this world, you will lose it. But if you lose your life for my sake, you will find it. And I just can't believe that I didn't see it before. The ones that lost their life for his sake found it, but the ones that found their life in this world lost it. You know how some people say, man, you've really lost it. You know, you're still alive, but you lost it. They lost it, man. They compromised. They decided to survive. And I can't follow that example, because look at what happens. They don't want you just to have Yahshua in a closet hidden. They want you to take it out and throw it on the ground and destroy it like it doesn't exist. You know, and you can't do that. You can't deny them. So, you know, enough is enough. And besides, there were people who noticed anyway. They saw in some of my videos my mind and heart and how I was expressing myself, and they knew. I even got these messages sometimes saying, you know, you say you're not a Nazarene, but, you know, when it comes right down to it, dude, I can tell. I mean, you just have this certain way of thinking, certain way of speaking, a certain mind frame, a certain heart, and it gives you away, you know. And I actually thought that was very, very sweet. I appreciated it so much. But in order to keep learning with the people I was learning from, I had to get hard line, and I had to take a stand against the other extreme side, but I was never denouncing or fighting against or arguing against the path itself. In my confusion and in my following the wrong people and in my listening to the wrong voices for a while, once again, it was the will of the Almighty. I've learned so much from both mistakes and both extremes as a personal experience, but that doesn't help anyone else. And I was making videos at the time. You see what I mean? And so I don't believe in erasing one channel and starting another one. That would just be plain wrong. A lot of people do that, and I cannot do that. What I have to do is pick up in this channel from where I am in life and go from there, and that's the best testimony. And you know that, and I'm going to make so many more videos and stuff because there's so much more. The end days deception, the Babylonian oneness mind frame that's going to be spread, and Kabbalah, and those Masons and stuff, and you know. The communication realm that they're in, and interconnectedness, and it's just mind-blowing stuff, and I have actually seen it and experienced these things myself, so I actually finally understand what's going on and stuff. And I'm real excited about this, and can't wait to share. And thank you so much for your time, everybody. And sorry if I've hurt or offended anyone, but it's got to come out. Okay, bye.